No Stone Left Alone is an organization that's really working to kind of make sure we don't lose the history involved with basically any of the service members in Canada that have sacrificed, and just to make sure that their memories don't go forgotten.
We have a long history with military in our family. So when I heard about No Stone Left Alone, I thought it was like amazing organization. I'm like, okay, we got to be involved.
My interest in No Stone Left Alone started when we were looking for field trips to do with my world history class. And so I contacted them, and we were able to get one of our students to recite in Flanders Fields at one of their ceremonies and get my students to be involved at the ceremony as audience members.
I knew that No Stone Left Alone always involved schools, different schools, and had the schools then go to the different cemeteries and do the ceremonies and then lay the poppies. And so I wanted to represent the homeschooling families.
When we're at the ceremony at the grave sites, each student gets poppies, and we go to each headstone after the ceremony, and in a solemn ceremonial way we'll walk forward, we'll place a poppy upon each headstone, we'll walk back, and then we'll say the person's name, the service member who's buried there, to try and make sure that their name goes unforgotten.
No Stone Left Alone has so much value to bring to society, to bring in the history of what happened, give like a kind of glimpse and remembrance of those that served and have lost their lives fighting for our country.
It really brings it home because they get to see the person's name, they say the person's name on the headstone, they can see the dates that they were born, they can see how old they were. Some of these were not old people.
I didn't know that the average age for a veteran in World War II was 26. They have their whole life ahead of them, and lots of them were killed in action, which is really sad, and they didn't get to live out their lives.
I think it's very important to always revisit Remembrance Day, because the fear is that people will forget.
Without programs like No Stone Left Alone, I do think we're in a danger of losing some of that remembrance and some of that part of our history. And with a program like this, you can approach so many other schools to get involved, and you have that same reaction from the students, from the participants. They get to see it. It's not just the remembrance ceremony that they're having in their gymnasium or their theater. It's there's more to it.
I think it's so important to have that passed down, not just as history, but also the importance of why they actually fought for our country and how we actually have all the freedoms we have today and how we're able to live the lives we live today because of their sacrifice.
It's important to participate in a program like this because some kids my age don't really understand the weight of what happened and the sacrifices they made. These people went out and fought for the democracy and freedoms that we get to enjoy today.
No Stone Left Alone actually makes me emotional. Sometimes it's hard to do the ceremonies without them because it's so much impact of what they represent. Making sure that the veterans are remembered and making sure that generations to come do the same thing. And it's not a forgotten about history. Their goal is to ensure that all veterans' graves across Canada are taken care of.
People can act as the caretakers of that history, and so it'll be there for future generations when the previous generations aren't there to tell the story anymore.